It's time for the children's story.
It's been a long, long time since I've been here to tell a story. Does anybody remember where we left off? It's been over a month.
Yeah, I wasn't.
You wasn't here? You might have been here the last time I told it. I didn't do one in May.
You didn't do one last week?
No, I didn't.
So I think we were there the last time.
Have we been talking about Sister White?
Yes.
Yeah? And the last time, the date is October 22nd, 18th. What happened on that date?
Stars fall?
Yeah. What?
Stars fall?
And they were waiting and waiting for the Lord to come. We already had the moon and the sun and the stars. And they was waiting for that date. And did anything happen? No. It was a great disappointment, wasn't it? So today we're going to pick up on that. And we're going to see what happened at the very close of the day on October 22nd. They just kept looking and looking for a sign for that big fist up in the cloud that's coming down, right? They kept looking in the sky and they didn't see it. The sun went down and set. Some of them were waiting for the last gong on their big clock, you know, when it gongs out 12 times. And they waited. No, Jesus didn't come. They were so sad. Some got their Bibles out and they were still just a-searching and a-searching. Wonder where we made a mistake. What happened? We don't know. And you know, it brought out a point that I never thought of before. Do you know how disappointed they were? But it said, do you know how disappointed the 12 disciples was at this hour when Christ was crucified? And they thought the kingdom was coming down for them too. And I never thought about putting the two together before, but they brought that out of the story. And I thought that was interesting. Because they were all disappointed, all the disciples, weren't they, when they crucified our Lord? But he had to be crucified. So they couldn't figure out that why they didn't come. There was a man that was walking through the field, absent. He didn't know what to do. And so they said, well, let's just go and cheer some people up and let's get our Bibles and let's sing and story. All of a sudden, he felt like he got down on his knees and he felt like he was hearing the Lord talking to him. And he could just see up in heaven, he could hear the Lord's voice. And they all had their books in their hand. And he heard, the sanctuary is not on this earth. What's the matter?
I think I see newspapers.
Yeah, well, it's a book. They're books. And so they couldn't figure it out. He said, so the sanctuary wasn't on this earth. So they said, well, we must go and tell others that we just had, the sanctuary's not coming to this earth. And they looked at the Bible and they couldn't find anywhere in the Bible that it said anything about this earth was ever the sanctuary. It's always the heavenly sanctuary. But sometimes we have a sanctuary that we call right here in our church, don't we? And we always say, don't run in the sanctuary. Don't talk loud in the sanctuary, because it's God's presence, right? So they went and they talked to some people, and they realized then that it didn't have anything to do with the sanctuary coming down here, and they was going up. But that's when judgment started on the deceased, wasn't it? They just got a little confused on that. But then they was okay. They didn't lose their faith, did they? No. But earlier I told you a story about a guy and some potatoes. Did you guys look at that one?
Yeah.
Was you here when the guy had his potatoes? Let's see. He was here and he was digging. And did he dig his potatoes up because he knew the road was coming, or did he leave them in the ground?
He left them in the ground.
Good. You wouldn't know for that one. He left them in the ground. And why did he leave them in the ground? Does Sarah know that one? Because he wanted his face to shine. And so he said he's leaving his potatoes because he knew the Lord was coming. So he left them in the ground, and people came along, they laughed at him just like they did Noah. They said, you better be digging up those old potatoes and let us have them. No, I'm leaving them in the ground because that's my faith. I'm going to show you my Lord takes care of me. Well, then the Lord didn't come. And so he went out and they had some food, so they dug up some potatoes. And they weren't rotten at all. They were good. Pretty soon, a few days later, somebody comes a knocking on his door and says, Brother Hastings, we don't have any potatoes. We already dug ours up, but something happened. They all spoiled. Huh, that's interesting. He said, well, I have some. I'll share with you. So all went along. Mr. Hastings' potatoes, they never spoiled. But everybody else's potatoes spoiled. Kind of like the manna, You take too much out, and on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's spoiled, right? So pretty soon, when it comes spring, they didn't have any seed potatoes, so they came back again. So do you think Mr. Hastings witnessed to the Lord through all that? Because the Lord kept his potatoes from rotting. So that was a wonderful thing, how that worked out. So we have to keep asking ourselves questions. How can we witness to somebody? What can we say? Through our looks? Through our talk? We've got to keep Jesus in our hearts at all times and be ready for when he does come. We'll be ready to come home.